Welcome back to Adventures with Rosie. Now, pretty excited today. We've got a new toy to use for the first time here on the property. This guy right here. So you would have seen over the last few property videos that we're inundated with firewood here on the property. When those pine trees came down, we had a couple of gum trees cut down as well. And we also got about a dozen or so pine trees that were too skinny to sell to the mill left over, so we got firewood coming out of our ears. We actually bought this log splitter before we moved in, believe it or not. When we bought the lawnmower, we saw this sitting here as well. It was an X demonstration model. It was marked down, it was a good price, and so we bought it, and it's just been sitting here in the shed. So it's a 22 ton petrol powered log splitter, 6.5 horsepower engine, I believe. You can split stuff horizontally like this or tilt the whole thing up and split stuff vertically, so pretty exciting. We can't quite remember how to use it. I can't find the instruction manual. How hard can it be? So yeah, we're going to drag it down into the paddock. It's just got a normal 50mm ball hitch on the front. Drag it down into the paddock, set it up, maybe pop an umbrella up because it's going to be scorching today, and we'll show you some of the wood down there and yeah, have a play. Alright, well, we just about pinched one of those hoses that was wrapped around the handle. That's why it didn't look quite right. But we're all set up. Chelsea's got the umbrella. She's going to sit down here for a few hours, I think, and just split this pile here. Yeah, just need to figure out how to start it now, I guess. So we kind of figure we'll start with all this gum down the fence line here, just to make it visually look nicer, I guess, from the house. It looks kind of messy. We obviously can't mow because of all these bits of wood, but we figure if we get all this up to the shed, the logs that are stacked over there, the pine looks kind of tidy. It can stay there for another year. Get all this gum, sorry for the wind, get all this gum out of here and then at least mow. So that's the plan. I have no idea how we're going to split some of this gum. These are the bottoms of the trunks of the tree. Look at that. It looks like it's already kind of splitting and cracking up in the sun anyway. But yeah, there's some mammoth pieces here. Maybe chainsaw first. Chainsaw into quarters maybe, and then I don't know. We'll start with the small stuff. Alright, choke on, fuel on. Turtle or rabbit? Rabbit, I guess. There's a switch over here. Switch on, let's try it. Well, I'm going to leave Chelsea to it for a few hours and go to town and do some grocery shopping. But I thought I'd show you the situation in our woodshed at the moment. So all this wood behind me is what we've pulled out of that pile so far. I know a lot of you in the video when we talked about the cleanup were saying absolutely don't burn it, chop the firewood up, free firewood, you know, you'll save a lot of money. And this is what we've pulled out so far, so pretty decent. You know, it's a lot of big limbs like that we don't need to split. It'll dry out nicely. And yeah, look at it, it's a monster. And there's so much more wood in there. So I think by the time we split the gum and put it on this side of the shed, or maybe outside to dry some more, and keep chipping away at that pile over the summer, next year, we'll have a lot of firewood for winter. I suspect we're going to burn a lot. We burnt quite a bit when we were here just for the tail end of winter when we first moved in, and because we've got kind of the central heating in the house, like the ducted heating, and also our water is boiled or heated by the wood fire as well. We like to keep it pretty toasty, take the chill off while we're home during the day working and that sort of thing. So yeah, I suspect we'll burn a lot, but we can't complain when it's free. All we're going to do is get off our arse and go and pull it out of the pile. I'm just hiding in the car because it's a bit windy, but Chelsea made pretty short work of that pile of firewood that was there. Now it's over here split. It smells amazing too, all that beautiful gum, all the bark and stuff. The reason we split it down here and not up, sorry if you can hear the neighbour weed eating as well, but we split it down here rather than cutting it up the hill, just to keep all the bark and just all the wood chips you make, I guess, when you're splitting it, keep it all down here. It's easier to throw it on the burn pile down here than sweep up there and put it in buckets and that sort of thing. So yeah, pretty stoked with that. She's done a great job. There's a whole lot more we'll do maybe in the evenings when it's a bit cooler, but so far, pretty handy little machine. So just checked the fuel and it looks like Chelsea used about half a tank. It's a pretty small little tank. I'm not sure how big it is, but might be 5 litres maybe. So a couple of litres of fuel for that stack of firewood, which isn't terrible. I suppose that's our only cost, right? Seeing the trees were already ours is the cost to cut them down. But yeah, pretty impressed with this little unit. The one thing I would say is this, I don't know a lot about engines, but this feels really cheap to me. Like, feels like cheap metal. The fuel tank feels really thin. I don't know. It's a Lavender brand motor, whatever that is, but it just feels a little cheap. It'll probably be perfect for what we do, as long as we keep it undercover, I imagine. It might rust out. But like, this steel feels really substantial, and then this stuff just feels really tinny and cheap. So I don't know how long it'll last, we'll see. It also, obviously the tow hitch, you probably couldn't tow it down the road because the trailer's got no suspension. And the axle is actually the tank for the hydraulic oil down there. So yeah, it bounces a lot when you tow it, especially over our bumpy paddock. But yeah, pretty good. I think it'll do the trick for what we need. If we were going to do commercial firewood splitting, this obviously wouldn't be the tool to use. We're getting quite the little collection of lifestyle property equipment here. I know I was talking to someone, a regular viewer, Black Pete, who just bought a lifestyle property, and he was talking about getting a tractor. And a few of you have been saying a tractor would be really ideal because you can get, so was it a loader, I think, with different sort of bucket attachments for doing different things, forks for pallets, and yeah, it would be cool to have a little tractor. I looked at one that someone sent me the link for, one of you guys that watches it, that bought one, and I think it was 20 grand, so not in the budget, unfortunately, but it would be cool. Got the space, I could park a little tractor here, I suppose. Little bucket be good, mower on the back, you know, so don't wear out the ride-on. Big mower for the paddock. One day, maybe. Alright, so time for a bit of a property update. It's been a while, I think. Probably the last time we did anything on the property, or showed you anything on the property, was pre-Christmas. But my wood pile, my giant pile of mess, is still here. It is kind of breaking down slowly, which is nice. All of the brush is dying, and limbs that I used to have to kind of like chainsaw up to get out, now I can just sort of slide out. But what I'm getting is lots of good firewood like this. So these were all limbs off those big trees, and I'm just cutting them out, and hundreds of pine cones as well. So yeah, this is going to be ongoing, I think, for the rest of this year. We have started tidying up down this side where we had the gum. We got some stuff to split tomorrow. We're going to clean that up, and Chelsea started cleaning up the back corner. So this bottom paddock, aside from this giant pile, is not looking too bad. And our plants that we planted pre-Christmas as well are taking off. We'll show you those. One thing we have been doing with our pile is breaking it down into smaller piles and having a few burn-offs in the weekends. So we get them sort of, you know, 3-4 times the size of that, and then burn a couple, run a big hose down here from our water tank, and it's just been a bit more manageable burning small piles because we're really scared to light that big pile on fire. It's just it's huge. And we had some advice, and someone said normally your flames will go twice as high as the pile you're burning when you're burning wood. So, you know, that thing's, I don't know, it's as tall as our house, so you can imagine 3 stories of flames. Yeah, I'm too scared to do it. Maybe in the winter, but for now, just breaking it down, getting the firewood out, and then the stuff we don't want, piling it up and just having little burn-offs. But our plants up here are doing awesome. So Chelsea and I actually decided we were going to bark this whole strip. So previously, this is as far as we've gotten, previously we were just weed eating around them. We had a ring of bark around the plants, we were weed eating. That's becoming a bit old and annoying, doing all that weed eating. So we had the idea, because we got so much bark down in the bottom paddock from all the stumps that were ground out, we've been laying old cardboard under here, and we're just going to dump a ton of bark on top of it. It's quite time consuming. You can see we've only done sort of the first 10 meters. But I think in the long run, like just being able to run the ride-on lawnmower down the strip is just going to be, you know, heaps easier than weed eating. All those plants we bought from that nursery in Tauranga, where we just were actually in the last video buying more plants, they're all growing really well. The flaxes that we've already planted, these flaxes, they're all growing awesome. So yeah, we haven't really lost much in terms of what we transplanted, which is cool. So yeah, we're just going to keep barking that. I just take the lawnmower with the trailer down the ride on down the street on recycling day and steal everyone's cardboard from their recycling bins, bring it back here, and then Chelsea and I have just been chipping away at it. So yeah, we bought all those other plants in the last video you would have seen, which we're going to start putting over there on the bank, but it's starting to look good. I'm excited to see this kind of a year or two from now, when you know the flaxes are bushy and the manuka and the kanuka and stuff are you know, a good meter high or something. So yeah, I'm pleased with how it's looking. So the other big change we've done is that we've taken the rest of these redwoods out. So you may remember in previous videos, right down the strip here we had redwoods, and they were huge. That's oh, you can't quite see it here, but they were good, as tall as I was. They were a pain to dig out. We transplanted 3 of them down into our bottom corner as a test, and all 3 died. They were the only trees that died that we transplanted. Whether or not it was because it was a hot day or we dug too many of the roots out, I'm not sure, but what we did was dug the rest of them out here, and we put lavender into. We put a first batch of lavender up there, which is doing awesome. Some lavender in here, and it's really opened this area up. We're now thinking that would be the perfect spot right there for a hot tub. We checked the bank account, we can't afford a hot tub, but that would be the spot. But yeah, so hopefully next year, huge sort of hedge here of you know, row of lavender bushes, which the bees can kind of go between the natives and the lavender, and be able to put some beehives around here somewhere. Alright, and the kids' pine cones have been cranking as well, so it's been getting a little cooler here in Taupo, and the kids have been bagging the pine cones over the last few months. We had all those lovely pine cones from down the bottom, and we had a bit of a storm here and a whole lot of pine cones fell out of our top trees as well. So yeah, so far we've sold 66 bags of pine cones. The kids have been bagging them up, selling them. My mum's been selling them to all her friends. We've got another 10 here and probably another 30 odd bags ready to be bagged. I've been telling the kids this is the fastest pocket money you'll ever make. They've already bought a Lego set each, but $6 a bag, you know, and they can pick up a bag in 10 minutes. That's not bad going for them. So yeah, we're going to just keep picking up the pine cones as we go. It's kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone, right? Because we clean up the bottom section by picking up pine cones, and the kids put them in bags and we sell them. So it works quite well. So 66 bags of them sold so far. So all the plants and the gardens and things are doing really well as well. We've got lots of citrus coming in. We've got passion fruit. We've never had passion fruit before, and I didn't really know if you could grow it here in Taupo because of our frosts, but we've been getting loads of passion fruit, loads of cherry tomatoes. We're kind of at the end of the cherry tomatoes. Our sunflowers came out while we were down in the South Island, but Chelsea's since dried them out, collected the seeds, and she's going to replant the sunflowers next year, do a big sunflower patch. Yeah, tomatoes. We just ordered a whole lot of fruit trees which are showing up in the spring, so that's part of the reason why we're cleaning up that bottom paddock now, why that's sort of our main focus, because we're going to do like a mini orchard down there is the plan, do a few rows of fruit trees. We've ordered a whole lot from Kohanga, a whole lot of heirloom varieties of all sorts of fruit, so that's pretty exciting. We'll get some feijoas in down there as well. The brick wall, I should show you the brick wall, or the tarpaulin, because it has not changed yet. We're just having an argument with the insurance company, but the bricks on this brick wall, this type of brick, we can no longer get. Firth, the company that make them, have basically said we will make you a whole house lot of bricks if you want them, but we won't just do a pallet to fix that wall. Now we went back and told the insurance company this, and they said that technically under the Earthquake Act here in New Zealand, they have to fix our house to a livable standard. They are not required to match the colour of the bricks. So the insurance company pretty much told us in a roundabout way, they don't care if those bricks are purple or green, as long as the house is livable and sealed, you know, with bricks, they don't care what sort of bricks. So we're going to talk to a couple of builders. We're thinking maybe we do like a timber sort of feature wall there, you know, sort of weatherboards or something, because half a wall of like sand coloured bricks and then half of like, I don't know, grey. I've got no idea. They don't do that texture anymore as well, so I just think it would look strange. So that is the wall of our garage. It's not too critical, but we're going to get some builders to do some quotes up, and yeah, hopefully get that fixed before winter, I suppose. I don't know, I'll probably be telling you in 6 months that it's not fixed yet. But hey, it's a little bit of a property update. Yeah, I'm probably going to do just more planting, more tidy up. We've got Harvey's birthday coming up, and at some stage as well, all of these pine trees behind me are going to have to come down, so that'll be another video. A couple of them moved around in the big storm we had recently. We got one down on an angle, which is hung up in the other trees. One came down completely, went through the neighbour's fence. So we cleaned all that up. Thankfully we have a very nice neighbour next door who's not busting my balls about the trees. So yeah, all of these will have to come down. At some stage we'll have to take the fence down to get machinery to take the trees down. And then, yeah, we're going to do like a native gully walk in there / bike track for Harvey, because there's a bit of a gully and there's a drain and stuff through the back. So that this year hopefully. Chelsea also wants to get this gum chopped down to a couple of meters, leave the stump there and build a tree hut on top of it. So we might do that. And Harvey's been asking for a zip line. So plenty coming up. Thank you for watching. Now tomorrow we are going to go on another caravan adventure for Easter. So stay tuned for that and I'll see you then.